The chosen one, something you expected, something you were certain was intended for you, has been postponed. It was like a promise was made to your soul and then withdrawn at the last minute. But listen to this now. What was postponed was not ignored. It was divinely planned. This is not a rejection. It's a redirection. What seems to be a delay is in fact divine choreography. Before we get into the developing reality of this message, please remain with me until the conclusion of the video and leave your warmest wishes in the comment section, along with the number 777. When you write your desire, you are sending out tremendous energy signatures that awaken the atmosphere and energize the cosmos. You claim it. You transmit a signal of trust and magnetism, which attracts what you already have. So go ahead, release your desire with love and conviction. Now choose one. I like this video. Subscribe to Vibe if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel, and let's go back to what's really going on under the surface. You may not see it yet, but something holy was in action when the delay happened. This was not a random delay. This was a divine hand intervening to save you from heading into a situation that was not completely prepared. Your benediction was not rejected. It was being polished. The scene for the unfolding of your destiny is being prepared with more greatness, grandeur, and favor than you could have wished for. The reality is you were prepared, but the environment was not. And the sort of purpose you have cannot be released into an unfinished environment when you are selected. Timing is everything. The universe around you must align in a divine manner. Certain individuals needed to be eliminated. Certain energy needed to be removed. Some doors that seemed golden on the outside were really traps ready to crumble beneath the weight of your potential. So the delay was not intended to punish you, but to protect you. You were dragged back in order to be thrust ahead. What seemed to be a stop sign was really a setup for a larger rush. A heavenly delay is like to an archer drawing back a bow. It seems like you're moving backward, but you're really gaining momentum. That release, which is on its way, will occur unexpectedly, powerfully, and precisely. The acceleration you're going to feel will be well worth the wait. Don't be deceived by the calm quietness. It does not imply desertion. Heaven has been working behind the scenes. Your name has been spoken in hallowed places. Your destiny has been revised using improved coordinates. What was intended for you will eventually make its way to you, but now with more power, alignment, and significance. It had to be postponed since the initial version was too small for what you were carrying. The chosen one. Think about it. If it had arrived when you initially requested, would you have been prepared to accept it fully? Would you have known how to safeguard it? How do you lead with it? How do you avoid losing yourself in it? The delay also served as grace. The decision to postpone was wise. The wait allowed you to develop into the next version of yourself. The one who could accept without losing tranquility, sabotage, or shrinking. There is a version of you coming from the flames. You have been tempered and honed. The delay was part of it. You've learned to trust the process, even when the result is unknown. You remain devoted even when the solutions did not arrive. That degree of obedience and devotion has strengthened your spirit. You are no longer guessing if you will be picked. You already know it. That will serve as the basis for your next season. So when the door eventually opens, it will be more than simply receiving. It'll be about governing. You are not entering a blessing only to be blessed. You are entering as a leader, as someone who has been tried, and as someone who has stood up while others have backed down. This is your opportunity to climb not just in plenty, but also with authority. The postponement gave you power. The wait sharpened your perception. What's coming is more than simply a present. It is a kingdom. Maintain a sense of stability. Stay thankful and in motion. The divine does not wait without a purpose. And just because it hasn't arrived yet does not imply it isn't on its way. Consider the last-minute modifications in planes that saved lives. Think about missed meetings that resulted in heavenly appointments. Consider how obstacles turned into opportunities. What you're dealing with right now is part of a beautiful orchestration that will only be completely understood after it's completed. You have been spiritually redirected for your own protection, not sidelined. You were spared, not dismissed. You were upgraded, not ignored. The delay is part of your prophecy. It extends your time frame while without reducing your influence. In fact, it increases your reach. If you had received what you asked for at the precise time you desired it, your circle of influence would have been narrower, your preparation less comprehensive, and your character less mature. The divine knows just when and how to provide, and when the time arrives, it will seem like a startling awakening. But in reality, everything was being created quietly and secretly. Strategically, you'll look back and think, delay saved me. You will understand that the version of yourself that existed before to the delay was not strong enough to bear the weight of what is to come. But the version that's developing is unstoppable. Let go of your frustration. Release your bitterness. Stop wondering why it hasn't happened yet and start claiming it's occurring better. Speak the truth. Affirm it. Walk through it. The chosen one. You're not late. You are in agreement. You're not trapped. You're in position. And what was postponed is going to come, bearing heavenly confirmation that it was never forgotten. It was just made more amazing. What is being created for you in the unseen is much more intricate, strategic, and holy than you could have imagined. Every delay provided a hint. Every delay allowed heaven to enhance the plan. It's not that your breakthrough was taken off the agenda. It was that the timetable was adjusted to accommodate a new degree of glory. Only those with the ability to look beyond the surface will see that the change was not punishment. It was a preparation. There are now talks in the spirit regarding you. Blueprints are being changed. Divine doors that were too tiny for the scope of your call are being replaced. You're no longer positioned for just enough. What's coming is not ordinary. It's the heritage level. That implies the delay has to allow for longevity. You weren't just intended to receive. You were designed to develop and construct God, to build something multi-generational. The chosen one. You must understand that certain individuals, pathways, and locations were taken from your life not because you were unworthy, but because they were not intended to be where you were heading. The delay revealed what could not withstand the elevation. You saw it. You sensed the disconnect. It stung. But deep down that something about it was correct. It was essential. The pruning happened before the promotion. Yes, it is lonely on this section of the walk. Delays are often misinterpreted. When your life takes a halt, people think that you have slipped behind. But God knows you're on time. There is a hallowed quiet that pervades your life just before divine activity. That's what it is. You are in the holy pause, the gap between who you were and who you're becoming. It's unpleasant, but irrefutable. Your strength is increasing. Your lucidity is improving. Your environment is altering. Certain waits are wonderful. Investigations. There was a last-minute examination before the benediction arrived. Heaven glanced closer and whispered, "Not yet. There's more to be adjusted, cleared, and blessed." This was not a no. It was a precious weight and a holy grip. So don't allow impatience cause you to misread the procedure. Do not destroy the miracle by denying it just before it occurs. The chosen one. What's coming was always intended to find you. But now it will face a more stronger you, a more conscious you, a more prepared you. You will not just open the door this time. You will own the location you enter. This is what divine postponement does. It reshapes you in the fire until you emerge as king, not merely a recipient of favors, but also a conduit of spiritual power. You weren't stalled. You were being cleansed, set aside, purified, and given extended delays. Train your inner compass. They develop the muscle of trust. They challenge you to face your doubts and control your emotions. They indicate what is steady inside you and what continues to wobble. This is no longer about the blessing. It is about the person getting it. And the selected one is growing unshakable. Heaven is unlocking a version of you via this process that responds to delays with revelation rather than aggravation. You now realize that divine timing is not late. It is layered. It enters with significance, maturity, and magnitude. It is not simply about the door opening. It's about who you've become as you travel through it. That is the person you are becoming right now. There are powers who intended you to misinterpret the halt as punishment. They had thought you would give up, but you did not. You remained with the process. You battled with it. You sat in quiet. And by doing so, you've shown that you're not just here for a minute. You're here for your destiny. That choice, that dedication, is what qualifies you for what comes next. Let's be clear. What is being postponed is divinely determined. It will not just come as you thought. It will come better with greater clarity, support, and tranquility. You won't have to battle to retain it. You will not have to make any compromises to preserve it. The vibe will feel different. This is because the delay removed anything that was not aligned. The wait was a filter. What remains is pure, and the purest form of your vow is worth all you've gone through. Don't hurry this trust because it will come unexpectedly, quickly, and clearly. There will be no misunderstanding. There will be no begging. There will be no forced links or lengthy explanations. It will land peacefully. And that is how you would know it was all part of heaven's plan. Your energy is growing right now. You are entering the realm of knowledge. You aren't asking if it will happen. You're prepared for how large it will be. You are matching your behaviors, thoughts, words, and habits with a version of yourself that already exists. That is the key, since the delay was never only about the blessing. It was about the embodiment evolving into the version of you who carries it with elegance, strength, and unwavering faith. You were picked to take a different route than others, who may obtain it swiftly. But you were carved in quiet. That's because what you carry weighs more. You aren't merely a receiver. You are a portal, a receptacle of heavenly impact, legacy, and breakthrough. And that kind of mission cannot be hastened. It must be constructed in calm and supported by strength. What lies ahead of you is no longer merely an option. It's a certainty. Your spiritual connection, constancy, faith, and quiet obedience have caused a significant change in the environment. The delay was only the last minute of heavenly tweaking before the release. So elevate your head, refocus your eyes, reignite your spirit. The divine isn't done. It's coming to an end. You are not stranded. You are in sacred suspension. However, the countdown is beginning. The transition is approaching. You're closer than you realize. And what is going to happen in your life will make you cry, whether you want it or not, because it was postponed. However, it came just when you were fully prepared. The greater the wait, the more particular the blessing. You aren't simply waiting for any door to open. You are waiting for your door, the one developed just for you. Heaven made it with your name carved inside the design. As a result, it could not arrive until exact alignment was accomplished, until your soul's frequency matched that of the destiny. I am waiting on the other side, the selected one. The fact is that not all wait time is wasted. In reality, heavenly delays often serve as invitations to divine change. They draw you within. They force you to consider not just your want, but also your ability to hold what you desire. That is exactly what this delay accomplished. It transformed you into someone deserving of the breakthrough. Someone having clarity, authority, and spiritual weight. There is no longer any doubt about your readiness. The delay occurred during the last test, the secret stage when your perseverance and faith were tested, but others observed quiet. Every day in heaven was a success. You choose belief over bitterness. Every night you went to bed without answers, but you held on to the hope that your fortitude would not go unrecognized. That discipline has far-reaching consequences. You were postponed because your presence will be too strong for a shattered stage. Many people will be watching what you do next. It will be felt, resonated, and echoed. That's why the divine had to make certain the earth under your feet was sturdy. Your emergence will not be silent. It'll be important. And importance requires time. So if it seems like nothing is moving, it is because everything is aligning for something larger than what you originally envisioned. Your name is being referenced in areas you have never been, and your tale is about to have an influence on individuals you've never met. What seems to be a delay is in fact a divine staging procedure. And purposeful stop transforms your ascension into a moment of indisputable strength. This is no longer about wishing for something to happen. This is about accepting that something must happen since you have passed too many barriers to turn back. You've gone too far. You've outgrown your former version, and the world can no longer deny you what is rightfully yours. Look around. The signals have been modest, yet there. People's responses to you have changed, and circumstances now develop with divine timing. the weird thing you keep in the midst of uncertainty. These aren't accidents. These are indications that the heavenly delay is coming to an end. The change has here, and when it starts, it will seem almost strange. It's almost like slipping into a forgotten dream. You dreamt. The identical scenario that previously annoyed you will now seem like a prize. The same environment that previously challenged you will now raise you because your energy has shifted and your knowledge has grown. Your eyesight has cleared. You were postponed not because you were punished, but because the first promise was insufficient. And now that it's been enlarged, you can have it without restrictions. You won't have to force it. You won't have to beg for it. The proper things will appear in your life with miraculous ease and impeccable timing. And you'll realize this is what I've been waiting for all along. Chosen one, do not interpret the divine delay as divine refusal. When your breakthrough was delayed, it became a seed buried in hallowed soil. It has continued to expand since then, quietly, profoundly, and invisibly. And now the dirt is starting to crack. The roots are getting ready. You are going to blossom in a manner that will put to rest any doubts you may have had. Allow this time to be precious. Make the waiting room your training ground. Because when the doors fly wide, they will bring more than just one blessing. They will expose you to a world of excess. And you'll wear this testimony like a crown. The delay did not ruin me. It defined me. There is something more you should be aware of. Many people overlook a fundamental aspect of divine strategy. Some of the items you lost during the wait were intended to disappear. They were unable to join you in the next dimension. While you may have mourned for them, you will eventually see that removal was divine kindness. The weight you were carrying was never intended to accompany your miracle. When it comes up, you'll feel lighter, clearer, and more complete. This delay created a border around your soul. You now understand what belongs and what does not. You no longer bargain in bewilderment. You no longer entertain what depletes your spirit. And this inside strength will serve as your exterior protection. You'll go into rooms now knowing you're not looking for approval. You are carrying a presence. So take a breath. Check out how far you've come. You've been through the unseen wars. You have passed the silent exams. And now the atmosphere is reacting. The angels assigned to you are coordinating every aspect. You're not merely on the verge of breakthrough. You're on the verge of embodiment. This is the point at which everything you believed will begin to manifest in practical and spectacular ways. The melancholy will surprise you. Grace will overwhelm you. And this awareness will humble you. Chosen one, every unfulfilled promise in your life is being reconstructed beneath the veil of time. But here's something many people don't grasp. A divine delay is frequently an act of love rather than restriction. The delay you experienced was not a rejection of your merit, but rather an enhancement of your result. You were never held back. You were kept together by grace, divine wisdom, and timing that was beyond your control. Every time you shouted out, you received no answer. Heaven was operating. Every time you felt you had been forgotten, your name was being carved into a larger plan. There is a plan for your life that will not crumble under strain. And whenever something didn't happen, it indicated the foundation was still being strengthened. So, as the structure takes shape and the shape of your future becomes apparent, remember this. The delay safeguarded the design.